Hi YouTube, here we go again. Following on from my short tests the other day with my Honda Cub running on propane, decided to get hold of an old mower rather than blow up the Cub. The Cub is my daily transport and I don't need to damage it. So I've got this old mower that I was given the other day. It's pretty ropey, but I think it will run alright on propane. And I thought, what's the point of just getting the mower running? I need to do more than that. So I'm going to have a go at building a 12-volt generator using this mower and a car alternator. Right, let's have a closer look at the mower. Okay, well here's the mower. Now we're looking at it from the exhaust side at the moment. Straight away we can see that the pull cord is missing. We won't need that. It's quite dirty. I wonder if it's got any oil in it. Let's have a look. My goodness, that's stiff. Doesn't feel like that's been open for a while. Well, don't blow. It has got some oil. That's quite a surprise. It doesn't look very clean. I'm going to change the oil before I do anything else anyway. Let's just have another quick look at that. Yep, the oil appears to be just about spot on, but rather gooey and black. Other things we can see, this wheel is seized, but again for a project we've got in mind we won't really need the wheels. The deck is cracked here and there's a big crack here, so we're going to need another deck. Right, let's spin it round and look at the other side. Right, we're on the other side of the mower now. Fuel line's disconnected, but as we're going to be running it on propane, that doesn't matter. We won't be using the fuel tank. The air filter's snapped off somehow. Again, we're going to have to do some mods on the carburetor, so we'll probably do something else with the broken air filter. Well, it's again very dirty. The governor seems to work okay. All the connections, linkages for the throttle assembly seem to be working. That looks like the kill switch just there. Again, we won't be using that, we'll be using... Oh, that actually moved then. I wonder if I've just turned it off. Right, okay, not to worry. Kill switch is there in place with the wire, which is going to be extended to a switch somewhere on a control panel at some point. Doesn't seem to be leaking a great deal of oil, which is good news. Can't see any anywhere at all in actual fact, but as I say, it is rather grubby. I could do with a wash, which I'll probably do in future. No cracks on this side of the deck, but that really doesn't matter because the deck is no good anyway. It's a plastic deck. Why they build plastic decks I will never know. However, there we are. So, we're going to need a better deck. I managed the other day to acquire a couple of pallets and a nice piece of plywood. These I'm going to use to make the deck for the new generator. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to put it together yet, but I'm sure we will work it out. I have yet to acquire an alternator to use and batteries. First thing today, I'm going to get this running and mounted onto a new deck. That's the important thing. And then that puts us a little bit further along. Right, here we go. What we're going to do now is strip off everything we don't need on the mower. Primarily, of course, the first thing we don't need will be the petrol tank. Oh, somebody's dogs are barking. And that appears to be held on. Yes, there's a bolt at the crack here. How am I going to get onto that one? That's a good question. Is those tucked in there good and tight? And the cat's decided to claw at the fence. There's a bolt down the back here which quite a fiddle to get at. Right, after a bit of fiddling I managed to get the fuel tank off. We don't need that. It's actually full of water, which doesn't bode well for the internals. Okay, what else do we not need? We probably won't need much of this throttle linkage here. It's rather overcomplicated for what we want to do. Some of it's for loose and floating about, so we'll take some of that off. The bits I know we won't need. Oh, it's trying to rain now. We don't really want it to rain today. Start with taking the throttle cable off, because we won't need a throttle cable at all. This is going to be a fixed speed engine, obviously, on a generator. It can be a bit of a fiddle, but there we go, that came off easy. And I think we'll take this flywheel cover off, because we're going to need access to that either to fix the recoil starter or some other method of starting, which will probably be an electric drill, which we'll talk about in a bit. But we're going to have to stop because I don't want my camera getting wet. Well, unfortunately we've suffered with a typical British summer's day today. Haven't been able to do a great deal of filming because I've been ducking in and out between showers, but I'll show you now the work I have done on the mower, and I'll also show you running. Okay, what have I done so far today? Well, this cable was connected to the handle at the top, which you hold in place, and that keeps the engine running. And when you let go of the cable, not only does it shut down the engine as far as ignition goes, it stops the spark, it also puts a big brake onto the flywheel. Again, because it's going to be a stationary engine and used in a generator, I don't really think we need that, because all the moving parts will be behind covers and inaccessible unless you're very, very clever or very stupid. So I disconnected that. Take the brake is, I couldn't get the brake off because it's tucked under the flywheel and I don't have a flywheel puller. So the brake is still in place, but it's locked in the off position, and the electric engine stop has been disconnected. And this wire now goes to the ignition switch, the stop switch for the engine. Excuse the helicopter flying over. This at some stage will of course be connected to a switch which will be on the control panel. On the other side of the mower, I've taken the broken air filter off and found two pieces of tubing which allowed me to put these two nuts on to hold the carburetor in place. I didn't remove the throttle cable in the end. I found it's quite useful. I cleaned and lubricated all this, although it's all functioning quite nicely, there's no problem with that at all. I took the spark plug out and cleaned it. I haven't been able to find a string pull or a recoil starter, so I did manage to get it running with an electric drill, which obviously you have to be careful, because as that spins, if the thing misfires, it could break your wrists. So I wouldn't suggest doing that at home. It's dangerous, I do it, I expect hundreds of other people do it, but don't say I told you to. If you do, you're doing it at your own risk. In fact, anything that I do here, if you want to emulate it, feel free, but at your own risk. I'm not telling you what to do, I'm telling you how I did it. Right, let's see if we can start it. I've got a rechargeable drill upstairs, which is on charge at the moment. I don't know if it's going to have enough juice to start this. If not, you probably won't be able to see me start it, but we'll have a go anyway. Okay, got the drill. It's fitted with an adapter that allows me to put a socket on the end here, and that's the correct size socket for the nut that sits in the flywheel. The nut is the flywheel retaining nut. And hopefully this will work. I think we're going to get one chance before the battery dies in the drill. I've found the best way to do this is to leave the gas turned off, pull the trigger on the drill. As the flywheel turns, turn the gas on and increase it until the engine is running smoothly. I'll check first that my stop switch isn't connected, which it isn't. It isn't touching anything, so we'll have a good start. Right, wish me luck, here we go. Okay, well I tried with the battery drill. Unfortunately it didn't have enough charge, it's only been on charge for a few minutes. So, out with good old faithful, I've taken the adapter with the socket, put it into this drill, and we'll try again. Once again, if you're going to do this at home, you're doing it at your own risk. There we go, the mower is now running on the blue bottle of camping gas. There's no fuel tank, as you can see, there's no fuel. There's probably no oak, but there we go. It takes a little while to get it set up running smoothly, but once you have, it's as smooth as silk. And there was obviously more work to do. I've got to work on a proper way to deliver the fuel, a way to keep the mixture right. Although again, with a stationary 6-speed engine, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Early tests have found that the governor will work within certain limits, because obviously as the throttle opens and closes, more air is coming in, weakening the mixture, or less air is coming in, making the mixture too rich. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get around that. I thought of trying some sort of needle valve, but then again, as I say, it's for a stationary engine, there shouldn't be too much of a problem. Turn the gas off, the engine stops, obviously. One thing I did notice earlier on, I had it running for about 10 minutes, I had ice forming on the bottle at the bottom here, and indeed it's quite cold even as I speak. It's using far more than I'd hoped, but then this is only a small bottle. I would say you could probably cut an average size English lawn maybe twice on this one bottle. But I may be using more than I need to because I haven't got the mixture set up properly yet. This is the gas bottle that I've been using for today's test. It's just a straightforward camping gas bottle and is attached on here, which is a straightforward blowtorch valve with the blowtorch part removed and this piece of pipe on with nothing in it at all. No, there's no jets or anything, it's just a straightforward piece of pipe. Now if you've seen my earlier video about running the Honda Cub on this bottle, you'll notice that I have improved the join here with 2 Jubilee clips, which makes it a bit safer. Now to run this, you need to introduce the gas into the fuel system, and what I've done for today, quite simply, is to tuck the tube in behind the choke. Right, as I say, this is the tube coming from the gas bottle. It's just an ordinary piece of plastic petrol tubing, and I tuck it in there using the redundant choke. The choke butterfly, you probably can't see it, you may be able to see it. The choke butterfly is just inside there, and this pipe is tucked to one side of it, and that is ready to rock and roll. But there you have it. Motor mower runs on propane. I've also taken the blades off now, so there's no danger for it being hit with the blades. And the next step is to make my deck. As I say, unfortunately I haven't got as much done today as I'd liked because of the inclemency of the weather. And well, I'm still quite pleased with progress. There's still a lot of work to do on the engine. The fuel system's got to be right. I've got to get it off the deck, put it on the new deck, give it a coat of paint, and then I've got to find me a generator, an alternator, some device that I can drive with a belt underneath the deck, produce electricity to charge batteries, start cars, whatever I want to do. I know at the moment, using a mains power drill to start it doesn't really say we're going to be able to do it out in the wilds, but I'll overcome that at a later stage. The drill I was using earlier, the small drill that hasn't enough power today, I can hook that up to a 12-volt car battery, and that'll be more than adequate, I'm sure. Anyway, thank you for watching. Check back and hopefully you'll see some progress over the next few weeks.